mics tonight, when you ask questions, which I really want you to do, I'm going to ask you to hold the mic like this, because at the last town hall meeting, I watched it again this weekend, and I couldn't hear a lot of the people in the audience, especially the ones towards the back. So he's turned it up, so hopefully when we put this on video, so the other 2,400 people in the community watch it, then they'll at least get information and they will hear everybody, okay? So, I'd like to thank you all for coming. This is our second Brookridge Town Hall meeting, and this meeting is strictly for the renovation of the front sign. That is the only topic we're going to have tonight. Now, after we had our first meeting back in June, there started to be quite a buzz going around the neighborhoods, and that's really what we were looking for. We want people to come out. We want people to talk about it. This is not a board of directors sign. This is a Brookridge sign, and it affects all of us. And we are residents just like you are in this particular situation. Now, what we want is for people to ask questions. Give us your concerns, what you really don't like or what you really love, because that generates more information for people to understand. Because if you have the question, come on in, ladies. Well, come on in and take a seat. They're in the library, the dear library people. Yes. Okay, so we don't care whether you're in favor of it or not. Well, we do, but we want to hear your concerns and whether they're good and bad, so you at least can make an informed decision when you give your money to Brookridge. Okay. Now tonight we're here to listen, to give an opportunity to get your input. Just a couple of housekeeping items to consider. All discussion must pertain to the sign. And we're here to welcome all opinions and concerns, and we ask that all here exercise common courtesy and maintain respect for the rights of others' opinions. And the last thing is the bathrooms are finished, they're in there. And I don't know if you've checked them out or not, but let me tell you something. When I went into that bathroom after they were renovated, it looks beautiful. Did they have to be done? Was there, well, wait a minute. Were they in good condition? Were they working? Yes, they were. But those bathrooms, I think, are 40, 45 years old? 35 years old, maybe? Okay, yep, since the building's been here. And everybody saw how it has gotten, they were beautiful then, but they really were bad in 2018. We didn't need the work done, but look what happened. We did it because we want to renovate, keep our property values up, and to bring it into the 21st century. We didn't want the bathrooms from the 70s. If you think about that, that's exactly what we do with our homes, too. I'm willing to ask anybody who's lived in their home for 25, 30 years if they have never changed anything. It's not that it needed to be done, but it needed to be updated, and that carries the value of our homes. When you start talking about nostalgia, and I'm talking to people in the camera land also, when you think about nostalgia, there is something to be said about nostalgia, but there's a difference between letting something sit and being nostalgic about it. So, that said, I'm going to turn this meeting over to Linda, and we have this great PowerPoint that Linda and Ron Ross put together for us, and we're just going to give you some pointers. You're pointing up ahead, so what is we, are we all set? Okay. Okay, I'll go turn the lights off, and Linda, you have the floor.
Okay, I again also would like to thank you all for coming tonight. We've got some PowerPoints that as soon as Ron can bring them up.
Okay. Ron, are you going to help us?
Well, they need to,
Do we need to
You want-
turn off lights? Can you see that okay?
Everybody can see the sign, everybody can see real good?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you,
Okay, there we go.
oh. Okay. That was then, and this is the proposed new renovation sign. Okay. Okay, this is the new proposed sign. Okay, our first PowerPoint will be, it's a community project. It is not a board of directors project, it's a community project. Everybody's coming together to work to update our sign, to bring it again up into the 21st century. The next will be the renovation cost. The cost is anywhere between $42,000 and $50,000. $40,000 is for the renovated sign. The other $2,000 to $10,000, which is an estimate for the removal of the roof. That they don't know how much it will cost until they get into removing the roof. And the next will be new landscaping. We would like to, hopefully we'll raise enough money to include into new landscaping. And we'd like to get a landscaper in that would actually do some update landscaping around the sign, and then our beautification committee can maintain it. Okay? Okay, and then the next, we had some feedback about a vote on the sign, whether people want it or not. A vote is not required on a non-budget item. No money is coming out of the budget for the renovation. It's strictly on donations. Such as, an example is the pavilion. The pavilion was done all on donations. No money came out of the budget for the pavilion. Okay, another concern that some people had was that the sign out front was blue, and all the buildings, the administration building and the clubhouse were all done in the blue. Well, the sign and the buildings will be all the same color. So it will not remain blue, it will be in the beige tones. Okay, another concern that people had was that we would possibly lose the property where the sign is at, because the sign is on county property. We cannot take the sign down, we can only renovate the sign. And so there was concern that the county might come in and say they wanted that property back. That will not happen. We will not lose the property. Right now, the county pays us $510 annually for us to maintain the property along the boulevard there, or the central when you come in. So we receive money from the county. If we were, because there was mention that we get the county to give us the land or sell us the land. Well, that would be a possibility. But if we acquire that land, we then would have to pay taxes on the land, as well as the liability for that land. And we all know that there's an intersection right there that should somebody have an accident and come in and clip that sign, we might be liable, as well as there's that party store right there where people come in and out. They're coming in and out of register. Now that we've got glory days, I mean, we'll have much more traffic. That it's better that the county owns the property and we just get to utilize it, as well as we get paid for maintaining it. Okay, and just a recap of the PowerPoints. The first one was it's a community project. The second one being the renovation costs, new landscaping, the vote not required on non-budget items, the sign and building colors will match, we'll never lose property. We receive $510 annually for maintenance on the property. And if we did acquire the property, we would have taxes and liability on it. And I still feel strongly that the update of the sign would add value to our homes. Okay. All right, I'll turn it over to Gail.
Now this information that we're giving you tonight is a result of the meeting that we had before, where people had asked questions and had issues or concerns, and we covered all of them. We went through the meeting a few times to make sure that we had all of the information. What I'd like to do now is to ask if anybody has any questions. We'll do a couple of questions, and then what happened after that meeting when we sent out the video for that meeting, and I had sent out a letter too to the body. I got quite a few emails back, and there were some people that supported it, didn't support it. So I'm going to go through, as the evening goes through, I'm going to read you these letters, because unfortunately these are people that are not here, and they wanted to have their input, and I told them I would make sure that at the next meeting that I would voice their concerns or support, whichever it was. So right now, I'd like to take some questions from the audience, or any concerns that you have. Paul, I'm asking that everybody comes up because we're having trouble with the video, so if you could just come up, thank you. It's like in church, you always sit in the second row.
Tonight's third row.
Tonight's third row. I saw a hand. Did I say, oh, there you are. I'm going to ask that when we do the mic, that we hold it like about this far to make sure that we can get it on video. If you could just state your name and your address.
Sure, my name is Ann, and I'm at 8065 Mariah Ave. My question would be, is the new sign going to have lights, electricity, or will it be solar lights?
Good question. As a matter of fact, one of the feedbacks I got from, and I can never say his name right, Philip Rasconci or something like that. He is the founder of the Astronomy Club, the Brookridge Astronomy Club, and that was what he had said, and he's in one of these emails, and his concern was having upward lights or downward lights. And his concern also is for the natural lighting, because he likes to look at the stars. And I spoke with him, I know Phil, and I asked him if when we talked to the person that's going to be doing, the contractor, that he could talk to him about that. And solar panels would be the best way to go, because it doesn't cost us anything. We just have to worry about the upkeep of it to make sure that somebody's watching it. And I know an electrician. He's retired, but I do know an electrician who would donate his time. So yes, it will be lit. The same. This one here is lit now, so it will be lit. Thank you. Anybody else? If you can say your name.
Bruce Christie. I have a couple questions on this. I haven't talked to anybody about it or anything. Now what you're doing is just pulling the roof over the top, off the top of the existing structure, and remodeling it from the top of the existing structure down? Is that the,
okay, the question, okay, the question, could we pull up, okay, the way that they're going to do it with this one here is this sign here, we would take the roof off. This sign is $40,000, and he told us he doesn't know what's underneath there. So we would have to have a professional company come in, and he would help us with that. And that could be anywhere, thank you, that could be anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000. It depends on what is in there. But the structure itself is sound.
is that all new?
This would be, we would be building on top of that. The pillars and everything, what they'll do is, if you can show that upward sign, yeah, from there down, they would come straight down, so you would have this, but this right here is the original.
So that's the structure of the holding that sign now.
Yes.
Is that solid and good?
It is. It is.
Who determined that, and what qualifications did they have to determine it?
Wait a minute, I need to, okay, Bruce has asked, what determined, how did they determine that is structurally sound? And who was qualified, if they were qualified? Okay, when the people that came to us last year, we had asked them some of those similar questions because we don't want to have the thing crumble on us and we have no sign. And the person came, there was a couple of contractors, and the one that we had to go with, he said that structure is structurally sound. He does these for a living, and we have to, and he has been working with the county. So if the county did not trust him, they wouldn't have given him the okay, because they will give him the permits.
So he'll pull it from it. How tall is that sign going to be, the new one, the new proposed renovation? How tall is, where's the top of those compared to?
It won't be, it'll be like right there, the roof will be taken off, and that's the top of this. And the round part in the middle and the pillars on the end, that round part looks like it might be the same height as the right there, but the other ones will be lower. It will not be higher.
It's 55 feet.
No, that's not 50.
That's 50.
No.
When you say 55. 55 feet.
No, that's not 55 feet. No, it's going to be, it won't be any higher than the existing, it won't be any higher than the existing sign.
Approximately the same width.
It will definitely be the same width. Where the end of the caps come out right there, no, not that one, right at the end of the roof, right at the end of the roof there. It won't be any further out than that. It cannot go further than the roof, and that is one of the things that the county said we cannot make it larger. We can extend this, but it can't be out any further than what the original sign is. So where the roof is, the end of the roof, that's as far as it can go. Does that?
Yeah, I just read those questions.
Okay. Do you still have some questions about that? Because it might be something that we'll be writing the questions down that we need to ask for the next time.
How locked in are you going to have the contract with the contractor?
He asked how locked in?
Yeah, well, the contractor did.
The contractor knows that we're looking at April of 2019.
Money-wise.
Money-wise? Oh, he hasn't said it's going to be more. That's the price that he has given us. As we come closer, we will be talking with him, and we're hoping by February, possibly, we would be starting the process, because it's going to take a little time to pull all the permits. And that's part of the issue. I mean, even if we were just going to renovate the sign a little bit, it was still going to cost us a lot of money. I don't know, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 just for the permits. So Bruce, what I'm going to ask you is if you come up with any other questions like that, please let us know, because we will make sure that we have that information before the next meeting. And that's what tonight is for. Okay.
Peggy Christie, Unit 2. My question is, the $510 maintenance that we get annually from the county, is that enough for the present sign? And either yes or no. And would it be enough for the renovated sign?
When they do that $510, they just factor in when the beautification committee comes around and they keep the maintenance up. When we have, what we're hoping, when you saw the other chart with, you know, when we talked about the landscaping is going to cost between $3,500 and $5,000. And we have a company comes in, the beautification committee will still be taking care of that, and that will still be, they might up it. I mean, I don't know if it's a something between, right, I'm not sure if it's a line item in their budget or not, but we do get that amount of money each year, the way it is now. It is enough right now, but we don't know what it'll be in the next, you know, after that. And the county has given us permission, so that would have to probably be renegotiated if it's going to take more money. Okay, all right, you're welcome. He wants to. You know, I don't shut you off after 3 minutes here because it's a public meeting. Okay, while people are thinking, oh.
Is the time frame April 1st or April 30th? First.
We're looking at April 1st. Yeah. April Fool's Day. We could really go someplace with that, but I'm not going to. Yes, April 1st is our target date. We have to have a target date. And when it gets closer, it depends on where we are with that. I'd just like to...
Is the sign in front of the administration building accurate?
The sign?
I think it says $7,000.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, part of that, when we talk about the renovation cost, it's the cost for the sign itself is $40,000 plus whatever it's going to take for, and that will include the lights, and also it's going to be, like I said, between $2,000 and $10,000. So if we go high, we'll need $50,000 for this sign. Remember, it does not come out of the budget. So it's not my sign, it's not the board sign, it is our sign. I'm speaking as a resident now. It's our sign, okay? The total cost, the landscaping, is going to run us between $3,500 and $5,000. And that is something that, whether it comes out of people's donations or landscapers will donate their services. We have a lot of landscapers in here, and they can't put a sign up, but we can certainly brag about them in our news and views. We can write a letter to them. We can put them up on the board. The other part is, at one point, we didn't even realize until a couple years ago that the administration office and the clubhouse do not have signage. And a lot of people even today say, where is the administration office? I had a resident that wanted to come talk to me, and I said, just come down to the administration office. He didn't know where it was. And it's somebody who had lived here maybe 7 or 8 years, didn't know, because we don't have any signage there. If we get, see this sign right here? It says the Country Club, but those signs would mirror, all the signs would be the same. And we would love to see this sign at the administration office telling you that that is the administration office, and a sign at the clubhouse here, at the portico, saying that this is the clubhouse. Because we deserve it. And these signs will be probably about $4,000 a piece. So there can be fundraisers for that, or it could be all part of this. But that's the vision, so that it updates, and I think it gives us a nice look. So that, so you've got those. And then, you know, my little issue is maybe we can get some money for the guardhouse too, because that's pitiful. Something is going to be done if we all have to volunteer and go down there and fix it ourselves. So that's where all the cost comes in. Okay. And I'll read a couple and let you people gather your thoughts. And these are all the ones that I got, and I had some positive and I had some negative, and that's, you know, that's good. There was a Ron DeBola that called up from Rialto, that emailed me from Rialto Ave. He wasn't here, he's a snowbird. And he feels that, now this was in June, I have not spoken with him yet, and I'm going to talk to all these people after this meeting. He says, appears to me changing the sign would be self-serving, for we are not changing the name of the community or needing to draw attention to it. I and others not in attendance see nothing wrong with painting the letters and roof a different color. I would suggest embellishing the sign, perhaps on either side of Brookridge, painting or manufactured out of wood or some material, palm trees or other decorations, giving it distinction. He feels the golf sign looks like some Italian ruins. We have to respect everybody's, you know, everybody's opinion. And he says, we all have to keep an open mind when changing anything. So that was one person. Okay. Another person wrote, they like the sign with the roof, the second sign. And it says it adds a certain charm and originality. I'm sorry, there we go. It adds charm and some personality, originality to the roofless, that the roofless sign does not. They don't think this has any personality, okay? If they were here, this is what they would be talking about. They talked about the design follows the perspective, you know, the function perspective, the roof frames, all throughout Brookridge. They don't like to have something modern and stark. It doesn't have to be like every other sign, and to us that makes Brookridge unique and desirable. And this person felt it was a Cassandra Burgess, Dennis and Cassandra Brothers. And she said the added bonus would be the cost savings, providing you with money perhaps to renovate the gatehouse. Now it's not going to save us money because we're not taking it from anywhere. This is only going to the sign. I had a person say they're in favor of concept 2. That was a Mr. William Short. And then I had a Mary Jane Ferguson from Rialto also, that said, I would love to see a new well-lighted sign at the entrance. It would enhance the look of our community. There's another person, an Ann Beardsley on Dickens. I feel the sign out front is okay as it is and only needs to be painted. And the clubhouse in the office needs painting also. Anybody come up with any questions yet? Okay, because I got some more, but
just think me. My name is Sue Patterson, and District 4. And my question is, I was under the assumption, heard it from somewhere way back, that the golf community was going to contribute to this sign, considering everything we do for them, and they do really nothing for us.
okay. We remember the rules, people. We want to have the opinions of everybody. We want to respect those opinions. And that is her perspective. Okay. The thing is that the golf community was not the basis of this. It was residents that came forward. I think a lot of what happened is that this sign looks like the golf sign.
And that's what they want.
But that this was the golf sign, it didn't mean that the golfers were the ones that were in favor of it. When we first moved in here, John was not in the golf community yet, and when we go by that golf sign every day on Central, Country Club Boulevard. And from day one he said, wow, that's a nice sign. You can't see the country club because it's always got the bushes in front of it. And he always said, how come we don't have that? So it was people that saw that. When the golfers heard about it, yeah, they were all in favor of it too, because it would be the same as theirs. The golf community does do a lot for Brookridge. It's funny because it's going in my news and views. And I've already got it printed up, don't I? So it's not, the news and views won't reflect what you're talking about here. But you have to understand, the Golf Association, members of the Golf Association are the ones that put on our shows. Our Monday night shows and our Thursday night shows. So they are part of this community. They do sponsor events when we have pancake breakfasts and the expo and everything. They always give a donation, just like all the other clubs. And I like to think of the Golf Association as the golf club. They got about 700 people, and it is a club. The fact that we can't use that golf course, it's because they pay to live here, but they also pay to play there. And you can, if you want to play, you got to pay. And that's because they need to do the upkeep. Because Brookridge community does not give them a penny towards that golf course. But they do support. And I do not believe, and I will say this, I don't care if the president was sitting here, they're no better than the rest of Brookridge. But I think in the end, people just have that misconception because it's always been us and them. And I'd like to talk about the festival because you brought it up, and that's a tough situation because people do think that they are not paying for this. Everybody is paying for this. I haven't gotten any. I heard that they were going to give us $10,000. I asked them, I says, well, are you going to bring the check? And they said, I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, it's a falsehood, people. They are not giving us $10,000. I said, if you got 10, maybe that Queen of Hearts money, you can give it all to us. And they said, no. It's fake news, and it's honest fake news. Yeah, it honestly is fake news. I had heard that, I approached them, and they said, I don't know where you heard that from. So it might be an individual that wants to give $10,000. That would be really, you'd make me really happy. I'd let you take me out to dinner for that. But no, the golf community is not behind this, residents behind this. The golf community is very much in favor of it. Once I showed them what was going on, with the sign when I first approached them, and they said, oh, that would be great. So it wasn't the Golf Association that started this project. So that's going to be really clear. And we're all part of Brookridge. Although we can't, go there because we don't pay for it. So that's a great question. And we are going to talk about the festival at the end of this, meeting. Did that help you? Did you have more questions on it? Okay. Okay.
Michelle, Midmore Boulevard. So that means they're not going to donate any money towards this project. And I was here in January at a meeting, and I could have sworn it was said in the meeting that they were going to donate money, that the golf club was going to donate money. at that time. So, and I really believe it was mentioned up front here. So I may be wrong on that, but I would like to have that checked out.
Okay. Thank you. This goes along with, and these are good questions because it's really, as I'm talking to people, I'm hearing, not tonight, but out in public, I'm hearing this, and I'm glad we're bringing it up because this is where you get the correct information. There was always mention of the Golf Association helping out because we want everyone to be part of this. And there were people that says, yeah, well, you know, they're gonna give us $10,000. Oh, they're gonna pay for it. There was all kinds of things going on. The Golf Association, the 700 members that are there are contributing. They wanna help us with the Welcome Back Festival that we're planning. They're right in there with us. There's the donations that come in, a lot of them are on the golf club side. So they are going to contribute. They're not going to pay for the sign, which they shouldn't. I mean, there are 700, there are 2,500 homes here, 2,600 homes. So it wouldn't be right for them to pay for it, but they are willing to give their fair share. And it's not an all or nothing, or I'm going to take my toys and I'm going to go home. They're in this. We're all in this together. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it wasn't that they were going to, and they're going to help us because they want to be, once they saw it, they want to be part of it. Did you? You're still, okay. There's participation because it's a community property owners thing. Okay. And it's really hard to not separate them.
Did you say that the sign for the administration building and the sign out in front of this building, which I call the community center,
Yep.
were approximately be like $5,000 apiece? Okay.
Well, $4,000 each, so we
Right.
$8,000.
Oh, okay, fine. Then the second part of the question is, if $50,000 is not raised, and let's say only $15,000 is raised, can we still get those two signs?
When we get closer to, I would say about January, we should have a pretty good idea as to how much money we're going to have. If we only raised $15,000, and I can't even imagine that, but if we did, hypothetically, if we did, it would still all go to the sign. And if we only had $15,000, the first amount goes to the sign out front. What we do, if we get more than $45,000, or we might have another fundraiser at some point to raise money for those, the sign gets the money first. The renovation of the sign gets the money first. If we get $15,000, then the architect will be looking at, you know, what can we do for $15,000? Yep, we will do whatever we can with the money. And that was one of the questions that people said, if you don't raise all the money, do we get our money back? I said, no, it's for the renovation of the sign. The sign is going to be done. What we do depends on how much money is raised.
When is the cutoff to raise the money?
Thank you. It's April 1st of 2019. We just figured a year because we put the line item in the budget for them. Yeah, that's okay, just to clarify, it's a year. Like I said, in January we will start assessing to see what funds we have and how the donations are coming in. We've got some money already, but we don't have, all the people are gone right now. And some of these emails were, do I have to be there to you know, can I wait until the fall to give a donation? Yeah, because we're not going to do anything. We just wanted to start the process because we live here 12 months out of the year. And we don't just wait while the snow is. We still continue to live here, you know, when everybody else is gone. Yeah, so we wanted to start this process. But January 1st of next year will be the time when we'll know positively what we're going to do. Okay, did that help? Okay. What else?
Rosemary Vesteri, Unit 4. I'd like to say that having our golf course is a selling point. And this is important because I've talked to people. The lady at the bank, when I went to the bank to put money in for our community, she says, oh, every time somebody comes in, I ask them, they ask me, where's the best place to live? And she always says Brookridge. So that is one of the selling points of our community, that we do have this beautiful golf course. The other thing Gail just mentioned about line item in the budget, this is for donated funds. Allocated donated funds. We have two funding. One is just donated funds, which we can use for whatever we want. The allocated one is for the sign. And we've encouraged people when they make a donation to please put on their memo section of the check for the sign.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us of that. I saw somebody's hand.
I'm Jane Etrican on the Boulevard. I'm just curious about the color. Did you say it was not going to be blue anymore, or was beige, or can you just clarify the color? Sure.
The blue is going. The blue will be gone. And well, you know what? It's if that's what the people are looking for, because even the other sign, the sign, not the original sign, but the one, there was two signs that we were looking at. One was $26,000 and this one is $40,000. The $26,000 sign was almost the same as that, with the pillars coming down a little bit more and repainted. That's what, because the blue is going to be updated to a more modern color. That's.
I don't recall seeing $26,000.
Yeah, we have. Oh, it's still on the. It's still out in the lobby. Yeah, but the blue sign would be, you know, the blue would be gone and we would be updating it. It's like.
That was.
Oh wait a minute.
Was that quite? I know it can't be voted on, but is that? I mean, is that what everybody wants? The blue gone? That's the consensus?
Yeah, that has been the consensus.
When we had the first town hall meeting, the consensus of the majority of the people at that meeting were in favor of this sign.
They're in favor of changing the color.
Even if we didn't have any money, because we have $5,000 in the reserve funding for renovations of the sign, for upkeep, that blue would be gone even if we didn't do anything else. That blue would be gone, yeah. And it's sort of like just the same as the bathrooms and stuff, it's just updating. Like I have this ugly mauve color in my house, and it's finally going. It took 4 years, but it's finally going. So, but those are just updating it. Okay. Do I have any other? Nothing yet from you? Not yet, huh? Okay. Yeah, you are. Okay, well, I'll do a couple more. And everybody that has sent emails, not one person has said keep the blue. They said if you just paint that sign, I'll be happy. So and those are people that don't even want to change the sign, have said that. Let me see, Mike Heffernan, and he owns 3 properties in Brookridge. And given that our community was ranked so high in places over 55 to live in Florida, the replacement of our sign should be given as an upgrade to our image and certainly is a powerful first image to any prospective buyers coming to Brookridge. We have all seen the difficulty over the years trying to increase our very, very low HOA fees, and it may be time to try to find a new way. Approaching this includes the cost of the new sign. And I think the majority of us recognize what a great deal the HOA fees are relative to the hundreds of other communities around Florida. And he's talking about upping the fees. And he says that he feels the property values are enhanced with things like the sign and certainly returned into resale value should anybody decide to sell. So they're in favor of, they don't want it to come out of the budget, they want to fundraise. Another one, Dick and Heather Wilsey on Brookridge. They're in favor of having a total new look sign for the front entrance. If the only way to achieve this without a vote is by leaving a piece of the existing one and renovating it, so be it. They would be in favor of seeing a small monthly assessment, which is not going to happen. And we cannot take that whole sign down, we can only renovate it. That's the man that, from the Astronomy Club. And, let me see. One wants to have options. Okay, let me see, and there was one more. They want to know, ask about getting donations. And this person, Marvin Flugema on Brookridge Boulevard, he asked us to please disclose the amounts and the input of the golf course to the proposed sign due to the ownership community. I think we've been addressing that. The golf course is not paying for the sign, but as members of Brookridge that also are in the club, golf club, they want to contribute to the sign. But they are not making any, they're not having us make a decision. They're not making that decision for us. That's why we're going to do it. So that's why I want to be very clear. It was not the golf course that started this whole thing. And I'd just like to read one more. This man wrote to me this morning. He said he would not be here because he's still up north, but he had seen the link that I sent him. And in watching it, the last town hall meeting, it engendered additional comments which I would like to share here. And there is still in Vermont. Though the crowd was not very large, I did feel the responses were generally positive. I also feel crowd size is not an indicator of support, but rather an indicator of two things. The time of year, and many folks back north, residents trust leadership and will support financially. He says, I'm very supportive of the third sign, which is that one there. And it says, in life and business, you either move forward or you move back. We must think of the future and in that, the future residents of this community. These are choices of which we can live that we can love while in Florida, even in Brooksville. I feel it's important to make sure our community puts forth a positive appearance to prospective new folks, as well as instill pride in current residents. Leaving the sign as it is cannot be an option. Businesses are constantly changing their external appearances to keep up with the times. It is important for Brookridge to do the same, and that folks choose to live in Brookridge and be proud of it. Let me see. The landscaping around the sign is important. The last meeting somebody mentioned sod in place of stones. When they were in South Carolina, they walked by a hotel downtown where everything is pavement and cement. They had this amazing artificial turf in front of the hotel. He actually had to bend down and look at it and touch it to see if it was real. He says it might be a consideration. So just comments that the public is saying. We have people thinking about it, we have people talking about it, yay or nay, but I hope that you keep considering what is it that we're doing. We're not going to make a vote because this is all donations. The donations are what's going to decide how far along we're going to go with this. As I mentioned earlier, if you look in those bathrooms, they were fine before, but they were outdated. And how many of you have updated your homes, bathrooms, kitchens, whatever? And it's to keep up with, you know, with your property values and to keep your home looking, you know, not from the 70s, but we bring it up to whatever it is now. So, does anybody else have any questions? I'm really looking for, I know you had concerns about the golf course, and that was really good. And you had concerns about the lighting, which we're already addressing that. So, does anybody have anything positive that they'd like to say, or are you all talked out? Okay.
We are going to have recognition boards. I've already got them started. And as people contribute, their names will go on the recognition board. No amount will be given, listed, just the name of people that contributed. I've also got a recognition board started for vendors and neighbors. So we're hoping to eventually maybe get contributions from some of the businesses that 2,800 Homes here does in our community. This is a city within itself, and we support a lot of these businesses. And so we're going to look at contributions that way, as well as the donations from the people. And they're coming in. They're slow right now, but I trust that they'll pick up. It's time we moved ahead into the 21st century, and I think that the majority of our people feel that way as well.
One thing, when we were talking about donations, they're starting to come in. And one thing that people had asked at the last meeting was approaching the clubs. Would you like to speak to that?
Yes, we're talking with some of the clubs. Some of the clubs are already looking and asking what they can do to help. Donations are starting to come in from the clubs. So the clubs are on board, and anybody that is willing to help us with this would be greatly appreciated.
So just one last thing. I always have one last thing. We're moving forward as the months go by. We're not throwing anything down anybody's throats. It depends on what it is that people want to have. And as we said right last month, if everybody donated just $20 and was able to get a new sign, would you do it? And people have said, yeah, I'll do it, right? So and there are some people that have donated $50, there are people that have donated $100, there are people that have already donated like $5 or $10. Everything helps. Now, before we leave, if you could show us we're going to have a Welcome Back Festival. One of the things that the board has been working on for the last couple of years is bringing the community together, golfers and non-golfers. And I hate to say that, because it happens. But the golfers are residents. The golfers shouldn't discriminate against us that are not golfers, and the non-golfers should not discriminate against the golfers. Because, you know, it's like white and black and we paint everybody purple, then you don't know who's who, you're just all having a good time. So one of the things that the board has talked about is having something to bring everybody together. And some of my members, Ron was one of the leaders in this, thought, let's have a Welcome Back Festival. Everybody's back by the middle of November, so we're going to have, this is going to be hopefully our first annual Welcome Back Festival. It's going to be a whole day. It's going to be like 10 to 4, and this is where the golf club is coming into this. They said, we can help you with this. We can make some good money and give it all to the sign. Because they do scrambles and stuff, and they do improvements to the golf course. But they're willing to, they were right on board with us immediately, because they said, we want to help, but we're not just going to give you money. And that's okay. But they're willing to do this, and we could make $10,000 to $15,000 on this day alone. There'll be the golf scramble, and that will be coming more. But what we're going to do is we're going to have the whole front area of Brookridge, of the clubhouse, the parking lot and the lawns and stuff. We're going to have games. I heard we're going to have a dunk tank.
Yeah.
I'm going last, I'm telling you right now. I've already said it. I am not going to be first, I'm going to be last in that dunk tank. But we're going to do, I heard the Ladies Association, the ladies of Brookridge are going to do a bingo match. They're talking about that. There are people that want to do like horseshoes and have a match, and you pay. All that donations, all that money this year will go to the sign. And it's not basically for the sign, but it's a concept that we have been working on for a long time to try to bring people together. And there's all kinds of things. They're going to have games, there's going to be food. We're looking at a nice food thing. There's going to be tickets for 3 drinks for like $5 or something. And we're hoping for like music. We're going to have people from the park. There's like 4 or 5 musical clubs, and we're going to ask them to do music during the day. We're going to have 3 drill teams that are going to be there. So I mean, it's going to be there's going to be a golf car raffle, and that was from a golf car place, right? One of the golf places up on 52, I think it is. So it's going to be fun. It's going to bring us, we're going to realize that, you know, oh, you are a golfer? I didn't know that. You know, because, and it's just bringing people together in fellowship, and that's really what Brookridge has always been about. And sometimes there's ebbs and tides, and it's time for us to kind of come together as a community, and it's not us against them, it's all of us. So you'll get, starting November 1st, we're going to be talking about it a lot, but it's going to be a whole day of fun. We're going to do cornhole tournaments and all kinds of things like that. It's going to go for the sign this year, but it's to bring fellowship to Brookridge.
Maybe I'm catching you short. You didn't get to finish your conversation, but this festival is for the sign this year.
Yes.
Next year there's going to be a festival for the Golf Association? No? That's just what I heard.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. See, I love the rumors because then I get to address them. At least to about 50 people. Okay, yes, I heard that too. No, the Welcome Back Festival, we wanted to have that anyway, and it kind of grew into how can we have fun and raise money, okay? This was already in the works, and then they came up and they started saying, you know, we can make some money with this. The Welcome Back Festival, we're hoping to do it every year at the end of November when mostly everybody is back, so that we can have fun and fellowship. And yes, we can raise money for whatever it is that is needed. There might be that, you know, if the Golf Association brings in a lot of money, we can, you know, maybe split the proceeds one year, or if there's something, there might be something that they need. It might be something that Brookridge needs. Right now, Brookridge needs, you know, our needs is to get donations for the sign. So it's not going to be 1 year's going to be them and 1 year's going to be us, because that makes it a split. Again, it makes it a split again. It's Brookridge. It's going to go to Brookridge. Where it gets allocated will be decided when the committee that forms that next year, which is going to be made up of 3 golfers and 3 non-golfers. So we have good representation all the time. This is what I'm hoping. We'll see if we can all play nice in the sandbox. So that's our aim, and that's where we're starting from. But this is a first effort. We're doing a lot of work on it. And Ron, would you like to give any more information, because you've been doing this?
Yeah. Ron Ross, Unit 6. That Welcome Back Festival is going to have a lot of things going on in it. Some are just getting put together. The Golf Scramble. We'll talk about the Golf Scramble for a second. The Golf Scramble is going to be, you wonder what the Golf Association is willing to do. They normally charge, if you go there to play golf, and you're not a member, and you go in there as a guest, it's $35 greens fee that you have to pay. The golf course for this event is waiving that, so that all the funds come back into this festival. You don't have to be an association member to play in this. It's open to all Brookridge residents and their guests. Okay, so we're going to have some people here that don't live in Brookridge. What we're looking at with this, at the same point with this whole festival, is, you know, invite your friends and neighbors to the festival at the same point, and people that don't live in Brookridge, because it could be somebody that comes on to Brookridge and goes, wow, I never looked around here before. This is really a great place to live. I want to look at moving here. If they play golf and they like the golf course, maybe you're a resident, maybe you're not a resident, and you look at the golf course and say, I'd like to join the golf association. But it opens it up on the golf side, brings people together. It opens it up on the festival side. If you can't tell I'm excited about this thing, I'm probably not doing a really good job. This is going to be a fantastic day. I think it's going to be a hoot, because I want to stand up there and sell the baseballs for $1 for the last person that's in the It's going to be a fun time, so you're going to see a lot more about it. There's a sign that'll go up out front. You'll start seeing that will remind you of the things going on. There's going to be emails coming out about it. It's going to be a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to it.
I even volunteered to be up there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but you know who's gonna go first?
Hey, I'll do it.
I'll buy $10.
You'll pay $10, see? So it's a way of coming together. Now, I just had a comment from someone who doesn't like to use a mic. That person said, commented about all of the signs that we want. Aside from that being, you know, there's the golf cart sign. If the signs are uniform, it would be a uniform sign. It identifies the administration office. You go further, and there's the clubhouse sign. You look over there, and there's the golf course sign. And then this is the sign at the beginning. It would just bring a nice uniformity to this. The other comment that this person wanted me to make is that if you are a resident of Brookridge, you can join the golf club. And that's something, I don't think that, I never even thought of that. You can join the golf club. It's gonna cost you some money, but that's why they don't want people all over the golf course, because they have to pay for it. And they make a lot more money than our guys do. So so if you live in Brookridge, you can join the golf club. So it's not like it's some special thing, but these guys have to pay. I know he pays a lot more money every month. But thank you for bringing that up, because I didn't even think of that. Anybody have anything else to say? Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Oh, you know, he waits to the last minute.
Okay, it's an easy one. Name, please.
Paul Harrison, Unit 4. Since you are going to be changing the color of the sign, what's going to happen to the administration office, and what's going to happen to the community center? The dark blue that matches the sign.
Sign and building colors will match.
Can I answer that?
Can you read that? Okay. That's great. Thank you for that information. I waited all night for that.
I'll stay off the mic.
I want to see you on your toes.
Upon colors, the buildings will be painted.
Okay. Say that again?
Upon colors voted,
Yes.
or when you decide colors, the buildings will be painted.
Yes. As soon as we know what colors we're going to use, our facilities guy said that all of the buildings will be repainted next summer to reflect the color that we ultimately pick. And they will be uniform. Yes.
Where would the funds come from that?
For painting the buildings, that's in the regular budget. Yeah, that would be, I mean, if we painted them blue.
Unless you want to write a check, Paul.
I can get him to do that. He's done that before.
Raymond Wells, Unit 4. I have spoken with the gentleman at the Sherwin-Williams store, and they told me that they would give us a reduced price at, I think it's like 50% off the regular cost. So,
And that's where the vendors come from.
and that's for all the paint for all the buildings.
Well, thank you, Ray. I knew we chose somebody good for the board. But see, that's where it comes from. You know, they might not give us money, but they will give us in-kind donations. And one more thing, nobody brought that up tonight. At the last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about the placement of the sign and the trees that are there. You can't see the sign. Well, I had a resident check into that. I didn't ask him to, but he did. He spoke with everybody. We can get rid of those trees. The county is just, we're like 80% sure. And you know, when I started going by there, when they talked about the trees, I went into that parking lot, and you know, those 3 trees closest to the road, they're new trees. They're young trees, because there's trees. And I went in there, from the parking lot, you can't see that sign anymore. Gee, I wonder why they put those trees there, because of the sign. And now they say, if you get rid of it, we'll take those, we're pretty sure we can take those trees out. So we will be able to see the sign as we're coming from the Sun Coast. Okay? Is that it? Oh.
Rosemary Vestieri, just one comment. Because we have outside businesses as we come into this community, Harry's, the real estate office, and that god-awful trailer that I hate. You know what I'm talking about? That big, yeah. No, with the boats. I'm going to try to get in touch with the county about see if we can get rid of that. That isn't a storage area. Anyway, the point I'm making is with our new sign, we can more or less, people will focus on that sign and not on the ugliness that we can't do anything about because it's private property.
And I noticed their poles came down this weekend. But that's for another day. I just noticed that. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for coming. It was a small group, but you had great stuff to say, and we'll get comments, I'm sure, tomorrow or the next day when we get these on, when we get it online. And just continue to ask questions. That's all we ask, is continue to ask questions and have an open mind. Good night, everybody. Thank you.